What's up, YouTube family? Gerald Greenlee here with Clean and Green Lawn Service in beautiful South Georgia. Hey, hope y'all are having a great day today. May have to keep wiping that off. The camera's been inside and it is humid out here. Sorry about that. My glasses have quit fogging up, so I figured this would. Anyway, if you look, it is raining, man. Not very hard, but rain is a good thing. Thankful to have some rain here, so I hope that thing will quit doing that, man. I don't want to keep wiping across there in the video. But anyway, a topic came up in my comments, and so I thought I would address that because I hear a lot about this, and I believe I've done a video on this in the past. Let me see if I can get this thing to quit fogging up. All right, so I let my camera acclimate to the outside here. Again, as y'all can see, it's still drizzling rain. But anyway, this comes up fairly often, this topic. I think I've done a video on it before, but people ask about bi-weekly properties. Why do we do bi-weekly? All right, so a lot of this has got to do with your context that you live in. Here, we have a lot of lawns that they grow slow. And I would say if you take the businesses out, I'm going to say, you know, more than half of the properties that are mowed here by a company are mowed bi-weekly. At least half, okay? I think it's higher than that. So you got your really nice neighborhoods that's got, you know, nice, well-manicured, irrigated, fertilized lawns that, you know, they would do weekly. But the vast majority, I think, is probably bi-weekly. So number one is this: if you don't do bi-weekly lawns, you're probably going to struggle in a context like we live in. So the next question I get asked, and this just came up in a video that I put out yesterday, day before yesterday, I think, which will be several days ago now when you get this video, is, you know, do we charge double for a bi-weekly cut? In other words, if it's a $100 property and the customer says, well, I only want it cut every 2 weeks, do we charge $200? Now, I know that there are some guys that do that. Again, that will not fly in the community, in the context in which we live in. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one is our bi-weeklies that we do, for the most part, are yards that just grow really slow. We got some bi-weeklies that we do that, honestly, other than the drain field and maybe just a few small areas in the yard, they could be cut once a month, and you wouldn't be cutting an excessive amount of grass. We got a lot of sand here, a lot of sandy yards, and they just grow really slow. So now, do we charge more for a bi-weekly? Yes, we do. So take, for example, if you got you know, a property that's $60 and you want to do it bi-weekly, then we might charge $70 or $75 for it. So, and the reason I say $70, $75, maybe $80, the reason I say that, really everything we do is based on a man-hour rate. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I come in at the end of the day and I'll say, you know, I did $500 today, and just for example, I did $500 today and I worked 5 hours. That's $100 a man hour. Now, our man hour rate is not that good, but that was just to do some simple math, right? So we want to hit a $60 an hour man hour rate, which includes travel and everything. Ideally, it'd be 70. So what I'm trying to make on the property, when I'm on that property, what I want to make is $75 an hour. That's an ideal, like that's good. It can be less than that, but you don't want to get much less than that. I got some properties that I do that I might hit $100 an hour on them. They're usually larger properties. So while I'm on the property, I want to make X amount of dollars per hour. I got a minimum threshold. There's no maximum. Hey, we can make as much as we can, right? But there's this minimum threshold that we need to make on the property. So it doesn't matter to me if I cut it once a week, if I cut it once a month, if I cut it every 2 weeks, twice a month, it really doesn't matter to me, because again, what I'm looking at is my man-hour rate. When I pull up to that property and I get on the mower and off the mower, did I make $75 an hour on that property, right? Thereabout, around that number. If I did that, it doesn't matter to me, right? Now, bi-weekly can create some problems with your route density. I mean, there are some very good arguments not to do bi-weekly lawns. However, again, if you decide to do that here in the context that I live in, you're going to significantly lessen the potential properties that you can put a bid in on. And if you take out our commercial properties, I think the other night I counted up, I think we have probably right at 50 properties, and even counting commercial, I would say that only 10 or 12, so roughly probably around 25% or less of our properties are weekly properties. So again, 75-80% of what we do is bi-weekly, and I know a lot of other lawn care guys in the area, and you're going to find that that's going to be fairly consistent, unless somebody's doing a lot of small properties in neighborhoods, tight route density. They might be in on a lot of weekly cuts, but most people are doing the majority bi-weekly. So, you know, again, that's just our reason. Now, if you live in an area where grass grows really fast, where you're cutting off 3 or 4 inches a week, yeah, you can't do bi-weekly. I get that. I understand that. But a lot of it does come down to context. I'll give you another example. I see guys all the time posting, I'm in groups like Stripe Life, and if you get on Instagram and even Facebook, YouTube, guys are talking about, man, I striped the lawn, I striped the lawn, look at those stripes. And these are guys that are cutting thick grass, a lot of times, you know, well cared for in terms of water and fertilizer. And that's probably kind of the expectation in these communities that you go in, that when you leave there, there's going to be this nice pattern in the yard. I don't have one customer here that cares anything about stripes. They don't care, right? What they want is the grass to be cut. And they don't care what direction you go in. They just want it cut. They don't want stragglers left behind. They don't want ruts in their yard. Now, do we stripe some of the stuff we do? Yeah, because we got some nice yards, we do it. You know, but I know a lot of guys that are doing these nice stripe jobs. They're double cutting. They're going over it just to really make it pop, which is great. But, you know, then the question becomes, do you charge twice to cut that yard if you're going to have to double cut it to get it to look that way? And I suspect that in the pricing, that's kind of built in. But, you know, again, it comes down to context. You know, what is the expectations of the customer? How much are customers willing to spend on this? Now, I don't care if it's a little yard, a big yard, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. It doesn't matter to me. If I can't make my man-hour rate on it, with me doing everything I can to be as efficient as I can, if I can't make the man-hour rate, then it's just not a good property for me. So then we have a conversation with a customer. You know, look, we got to go up $10, we got to go up $15, whatever the case is. And they either say yes or no, and that determines whether we keep that customer or not. But we do not base it on the frequency of cuts. Now, I do have a couple of bi-weeklies that do grow fast, and we charge accordingly. Again, when we leave that property, we're still making our man-hour rate. And so at the end of the day, you know, that's really what matters to us. So anyway, I just want to share that. Maybe it'll help somebody out. Maybe it'll give some clarification to somebody, you know, as it relates to that. So, hey, I appreciate y'all watching the video, and my prayer for you is always the same, that the Lord might richly bless you, and that you might see all of your blessings as from Him.